absolutely, I don't disagree with you, but all I can tell you is moving forward, I would like to think I know what we're going to do moving forward. And at some particular point in time, we have to get, because you mentioned the construction and all that, there's a lot of misinformation out there. It is what it is, there's a lot of misinformation. I'm on all the websites, I belong to the various neighborhood groups, and I see some information that is just blatantly false. And rumors get started, and what would be really helpful to us is when you see that stuff, you don't go in and comment, oh, I knew they were going to do that. Call me.
Great.
Call Michael.
You got it.
Call. I'm going to volunteer Flora.
I would like to recognize this young man who had the courage to stand up in this public meeting. This is the future of Newport News. Thank you, sir. The clock, it's 8:15. We have till 8:30. Let's have maybe 3 more questions.
Point of clarification, we keep talking about designating this as a park, but we've already stated that it's already zoned park.
Right.
So what am I missing? It's already been designated as a parkland, people. I mean, what am I missing? Well, it is under study, but under study does not mean it's going to be changed from a park. Zoned to park. Well, they could.
Of it. The legal aspect of it is zoning. The comprehensive plan is a plan.
Well, I mean, it's zoned park, so maybe I'm not understanding the semantics of where you keep saying we want to designate a park, but it is designated park already. I mean, I totally agree. If we're going to
comes out that's
develop
changed every 5 years, it will say under study, because at this point in time, from staff's perspective, it's under study. It is a legal designation of a park.
right now, it is a park. So, am I missing something here?
I think that's a question that all of us have. It's a park. Why can't it stay a park?
It's zoned a park.
Yes, it's officially zoned park.
It always change uses.
First of all, I wanted to thank you for coming, Ms. Rohlf. And I want to commend you on something else. And I don't want anybody to get upset with me, and I hope nobody gets upset with you. But you were the first city official who's been willing to stand up in public and admit that development is an option.
Yeah.
And I'm totally opposed to developing that property, but I have been hearing for, over a year that, oh no, there's no plan to develop it. And I know that there's not a plan to develop it now, but at least you're being straightforward enough to go and admit that that is currently an option. And I think that helps us a lot, that we feel you're being straight with us, and I really do appreciate that. I'm like a lot of other people here who believe the city could designate this a park tomorrow, and to disagree with you a little bit, yes, the zoning is park, but it is that property, it's been zoned for I don't know how long as a park, but that property is the Newport News City Farm. What we're trying to, which is now shut down, and what we have been calling for is for the city to designate the city farm property as part of Riverview Farm Park. We know that it will take a process to go and develop a plan of how the public will be able to use that. And I for one know it will take quite a bit of time, and it will take money, and I know that y'all have budget constraints. But if we know that it is designated part of the park, then I think people will feel a lot more comfortable. And one other thing that's really my question, I listened to you today, use the P word. In fact, before you even said it, I had it written down here, the P word. And I've heard Bert get up at different meetings and things and talk about a process and need to go and bring stakeholders together. But I go to a majority of the city council meetings. And the ones that I don't attend, I watch them on cable. And in every meeting that I've gone to and watched, I've heard one person and get up and call for development. Everyone else who's gotten up and spoken to this issue has spoken in favor of making it a park. So this need for, quote, public input, unquote, sorry, maybe, I admit I'm not the smartest guy in a given room, but what kind of more public input do they want? Because what it sounds to someone like me is that there are people in the city government who are looking to go and provide themselves political cover by recruiting people to serve on a committee or a task force or whatever who can speak up in favor of using it for development. And there are really only two alternatives. Park, well, I guess there's three. You can just leave it fallow like it is, park or development. And I realize there can be commercial park, some commercial development within the framework of the park, but I'm not talking about that. And I think that's something that needs to be discussed later. But first, somebody's got to get off the dime and say, this will be part of Riverview Farm Park.
Thank you.
Two more questions.
Go ahead.
And I appreciate your comments. The point that I am making, because I can say as far as council members, they want to look at options. All I'm saying to this group is not that there's going to be development or anybody supports it. Nothing is off of the table, or else you don't have the people. If I cannot go in and say, we're not going to look at this, we're not going to look at this, and we're not going to look at this. That's not what my job is. My job is to facilitate it, and if it's being honest, nothing can be off the table, or else what's the point of going through this?
Thank you both for being here. This might be a question for you. As far as the archaeological dig, I presume that there will be heavy equipment knocking down the buildings.
Yes, that's part of the, I'm trying to figure out a way not to say process.
It's okay.
Part of the study, the firm that was selected, and I think Ms. Rohlf spoke to that. They were very excited in the presentation process to make sure people knew what was going on. I think they have some ideas of how to things move along. They want to be here when any of that starts, of tearing down the building.
That was my question, if they were going to oversee it.
Right, there may be ways they have to do it that works for
To
them
minimize
compared to
damage.
just come in and blow them up and take them away.
All we're
Right, thank
doing
you.
as far as taking down, and it'll be a combination of hiring out for somebody. I think Public Works is going to do one of the buildings. They think they have the capability. The other building they're not comfortable with, from a safety standpoint. I believe the barracks, because of the way it's built, they're just not comfortable. But there's somebody on staff that has that background. It will be a monitored process, and we're not going into the ground. We're going kind of down to the slab, and then it's incumbent on them to take it from there.
Okay, that was my concern, not
Yes.
causing any.
Oh, no, it will be very
damage
well
to the
monitored.
site.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cynthia, some of that is not just.
One more question,
6
maybe?
inches. You're talking well below ground. level.
Absolutely.
That's
Particularly for the barracks, there's
18-inch
basements.
deep walls with rebar every 6 to 8 inches.
Absolutely.
Only for the laundry.
Well, but even that, you're still down below 6 inches. Or replace cast
Yes,
iron.
sir.
I'd like to remind y'all that we have a new city manager, and I think we're gonna see a lot of changes. We just got rid of the worst city manager we've ever had who was new. I've been here since 1938, and I can tell you that things are not as good as they were back in the 50s. We had Peterson's Yacht Basin, Anderson Park, the boat harbor where you could go to. You had a tour boat going over there and a restaurant. We had Lincoln Park. I had a concession stand at Lincoln Park. There was a building there, and I rented it from the Parks and Recreation, and the worst thing that happened there was a group came there one night and locked my worker in there and said, until you fix us all something to eat. But they paid and then let her out after it was done. Then you came on around the river a little further to Red's Pier, and Red rented boats, and he would tow you out in the middle of the river, and you drop anchor and fish for a certain amount of time, then you come back and tow you back. Had a pier down there where you could get off of the boat onto the pier. Then we had a Hilton Pier that had platforms where you could pull up in a boat and pick people up, take them for a ride. That's where I met my wife. And then we came on up a little further. We had the museum, of course, the James River Country Club. Then you came on around to Deep Creek, and you had a restaurant, a marina store, lots of oyster boats. Yacht clubs started back in the 50s or 60s. I mean, things, we need more on the water, and as I rode around last week, we were looking for a place to look at the water just for the fun of it. We ended up in Yorktown Beach. Man, the place was packed, jammed, and so was the park, but there wasn't any way to get to the water at the park. But there is a nice beach down there, and there were some people on the beach down there. I guess they climbed over the railing at the pier and went down on the beach. So it can be done, but we've got to give her a chance to let us get it going. And I don't know how they're going to choose the people that want to decide what should be there. But I think that everybody here should be on the committee and bring one idea and write them all down, and then start scratching off the ones that are possible and not possible. And we can get this thing going in a hurry without spending a whole lot of money. Thank you.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody for coming, and especially our city manager and it's not easy, I know, to stand up in front of people, especially when you're new on the job, but we can see from what she's done tonight that she's very good at it. So thank you very much for coming, being willing to listen. And thank you, Michael, for coming also. And for your help. What we would like is to be involved. And any way we can, there are people
promise
here.
you that.
There are people here who be willing to meet you or other people from the staff anytime and discuss what we would like to see happen. And I think you know the main thing we want to happen from what you heard tonight. And I want to encourage people to go to city council meetings. There's one tomorrow night. And any of you can get up and speak. Get 3 minutes. You can say a lot in 3 minutes. And the more people that do that, the more it will be apparent to the city council that there's a lot of us out here who want the park.
Tell them about the process of the card outside the.
Yes. If you go, first of all, you go on our website, SaveRiverviewFarmPark.com. You've probably seen the signs out there, and it's at the top of the signs. SaveRiverviewFarmPark.com. It tells you details of what to do, but it's get there before 7, fill out those yellow cards, and tell them you want to speak during the public comment period. And they'll call your name when it's time for you to go up there. We've had as many as 25 people speak against any development in Florida Park at one time.
When's the next meeting?
Generally, we have 5 or 6, some more like that. But I've spoken myself 11 times, I believe, now. And I plan to be there tomorrow and thrilled that we get this done. And I want you to be with us.
Who can be there tomorrow?
Please come. Please
All
come.
right.
And you can also send emails to council members, write letters to the Daily Press. There's a lot of ways you can help us. So keep in touch. If you take one of those brochures, there were some on the table. If they're all gone, I have more up here. And that will give you an email where you can contact us.
I've got petition if you want to sign it. If you haven't signed it online or physically signed it, I got some.
Yes, the paper petition, we want you to sign that, and also there's a separate petition online, do both. Those are two separate things. And we'll have a meeting probably in about a month, so look for details on our website. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, everyone, especially Cindy.
That's gonna do a good job.